Hey, it's Annie and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the makeup brushes. You don't need to have this many, by the way. I'm not saying these specific brushes that I'm sharing with you. I'm not saying to go run out and get them. I'm just giving you an idea of the different brushes and what they do and what to look for. Now, I will tell you that I am someone that sometimes I will use a brush not for its intent. And we'll talk about more of that as we're talking about this too. And I don't think it matters how much you spend. I mean, there are some brushes that are a little bit more luxurious, that are softer, and yes, if you want to spend the money on it, go ahead and do that. But then I think that's all you really are going to use, and that's all you really need. You don't have to keep buying brushes either. Just like makeup, you don't have to keep buying stuff. I just recently bought a brush set because even though I had some brushes, I was just really interested in them. I love them. I've shared that already. The BK brushes, I love them. But there's other brushes that I have in my collection, and I do use those. And I'm just going to talk about, this is about the type of brushes and what to use where. I'm just getting this because I have another thing right here with, oh my gosh, looks like my eye pencil sharpener must have leaked. But anyways, so then I have more brushes there. Yeah, so let's get into this. Let's talk about powder first. So if you are using a powder, a face powder, I have so many brushes for this, okay? But what you want to get is a big, nice, fluffy brush. Though this is the one that I have from BK Beauty. This is one that I like to use for my setting powder. I will even use this for my finishing powder as well. You just want a nice big fluffy brush like this. This one's from Too Faced. It's not as fluffy, so you can see why I just love this one. It's just bigger and better. This is a nice one though. This is from Real Techniques. I was using this for a while. This is really, really nice. And this is another Real Techniques brush. I think you can use this as a all over powder blush, but I feel like I was using this for my bronzer too. That's what it looks like because I need to clean it. So that's what you want to get when you are getting a powder, you know, for all over powder. Like you wouldn't want to use something like, I'm trying to see what I have here. Oh my God, I feel like I have something in my eye. This happened the other day too. Like a brush like this to me would be too small. I mean, you could use it, but it's kind of small. See how nice and fluffy that is? So this just is a nicer, look how soft it is. So that's a nicer brush to use all over. So you want to use a nice fluffy brush. Another one I have too that's nice is from Sigma. So that's another one. A nice big fluffy brush to put your powder on. Love it. When it comes to a foundation brush, there's different brushes, and this is so personal. I don't like really stiff brushes. I have some that are stiff that I just don't use. This one's from Sigma, and this one, it's the Kabuki brush. It's just too, it seems like it's soft, but once I put it on my face, I feel like, at least on my mature skin, I feel like my skin is moving with it, you know, as I'm putting it on. So I like something softer. This one's from It Cosmetics. I like the angle of it, but again, it was okay. I just don't use these. These are brushes that I don't use because that's another one that I think is a foundation brush from It Cosmetics. So what I prefer to use, honestly, for my foundation, if I'm going to use a foundation brush, I'm going to use one like this. This is from the BK Beauty because it's really soft and I can stipple it on. But when I use my foundation, this is what I use, a beauty blender. I know it's gross because I just used it. I just filmed a video today. But this is my #1 tool for putting on my foundation. You don't have to use a beauty blender. You can use any sponge you want, a beauty sponge. But I'm going to tell you that I feel like when you use a sponge, you get a better application. I know so many people said soaks a product. It doesn't. It doesn't. It stains the outside, but I guarantee you if I cut this open, you're not even going to see it because I've done it before. I've cut open an old, maybe I'll do this one pretty soon. I'm not going to do it today. I have to see if I have another one. I think I do because this one's probably ready to go, but I'm telling you, there's no product in here. It does not soak up the product. I think if you're soaking it up, then you are not, it's not damp enough. You have to make sure that, so I clean it before I use it. And then I take it and I squeeze it out. Then I take a towel and I blot it out in there so it's not soaking wet, and then I use it. So you might not be using it the right way, but I've never had a problem with any foundation that I've ever used, liquid foundation. It works for watery, it works for thicker. I've never had a problem with it soaking up. So I think that maybe it's not being used right. That's all I can think of, because this is like my number one for foundation. But if I had to use a brush, I like something like this. This is what I use for my concealer because I can get right under there. I was using my beauty blender, but I just find that this actually smooths it out a little bit better for me. So you don't have to get this just to use a brush like this for a under eye concealer. But if you're looking for a makeup brush, you might want to get something that you can use it for your under eye concealer and your foundation. Just saying, okay? As far as a bronzer goes, I like to use something that is a little bit pointy like this. I was using, let's see if I still have it. It was getting really bad and I haven't been using it. It's a Chanel brush and I don't know if I have it. Yeah, I do. So I was using this. Now this is really nice too. I wouldn't get this brush. This is from Chanel and it's been shedding like crazy. I think Sigma might have a brush like this, but this is really nice for contouring or for bronzing, because see how it's angled? See how you can get like right in there and really, yeah, so that's really nice. So an angled brush like that is really nice to have, or a nice pointed brush like that is really nice for a bronzer, because again, it gets right, all the product goes right on the tip there and you can just rub it right in. A brush like this is really good for blush as well, because when you are tapping it into your powder blush, you can go ahead and apply it that way as well. So this is really nice for either a bronzer, cream bronzer, a powder bronzer, or a powder blush. This is great for any of that. Let's talk about a liquid blush. Now, if you're using a liquid blush like I do, you can use your fingers. You don't even have to use a brush. You could just use your fingers. You could use a beauty blender, so you could put it on the back of your hand, take your beauty blender and then just blend it out. You could do it that way, or you can use a brush like this. This one is from Real Techniques. I don't know if they still have this brush, but I mean, it doesn't have to be from Real Techniques, but you can get a brush that's kind of angled like that. See how it's angled? So then it kind of fits on my cheek. See how it fits on my cheek? So then when I'm blending out my blush, it just works really, really nicely for that. So that works really, really well for a liquid blush. Cream blushes, again, I just use my fingers to do that, but you could use a brush like that and do the same thing with a cream blush as well. With highlighters, it depends on the highlighters. Some, like this one, I use my beauty blender for that. You can use your fingers to put your highlighter on. You don't even need a brush, but if you want a brush for a highlighter, something like this is really nice. It's really sparse. I'm gonna get it to see if it'll zoom in. But you can kind of see the inside and you can see how the bristles are. That's a really nice brush to have, because you can just take it and you can just dip it right in there and you can just, you know, go like that and apply it to the top of your cheeks. So if you have a powder brush, if you have a powdered highlighter, a brush like this is really nice to have. Really all you need, again, and it depends on the products that you have. It depends on what you use and what you need. So this is nice if you have powdered blushes, or why do I keep saying blushes? This is nice to have if you have a powdered highlighter. So you have to kind of go through your collection to kind of see what you need. This blush, before I get to the eyes, I'm going to show you what I use all the time for my eyes. And I'll show you some other options too. I think I have in here. Yeah. So this brush I love. I've had this for a while. This is a really nice brush. I can't speak. Because what I do with this, there's so many things that I do with this. You can use it to put your foundation on. I know some people use this for their foundation and it's not too bad. It's not. I just don't like to use a brush like this for my foundation, but it's all personal. But what I use with this end here is I'll go like this under my eyes after I put my concealer on, just to make sure that there's no settling underneath my eyes. I will use this and to use my powder color corrector, and I will dip it in there and I will put it on my scarf if I need it, or whatever. I will use this side and put, you know, powder color corrector on my nose, or if I just wanted to use a powder foundation on my nose or whatever, that's what I use this for. So this one's from It Cosmetics. It's the Heavenly Luxe brush. That one I really, really love. I haven't found a brush like that. So, I mean, all these other brushes you can get similar, but this one I really, really love. Let's talk about the eyes and what you need when you're applying your eyeshadow. What do you really, really need? Do you need to have a whole bunch of brushes? No, you don't. I'm gonna grab a couple different brushes out here to give you guys an idea, okay? Brushes are personal. Lately, I've been hooked on my BK Beauty brushes, but I have other brushes that I love just as well. So when you are applying a color to your crease, you want a nice brush that's not too big. You don't want it to be too fluffy. At least that's how I am. I don't like it too fluffy. I want something that's gonna really fit in there. So something like this. See how it's fluffy but pointy? Can you see that? So I can get right in here and apply my eyeshadow, and I can blend with it. So if you have this, you really don't need to have a separate blender. I like to blend it separately sometimes, but I'll tell you, lately I've just been using this to blend it and apply my shadow. I have this one as well from BK Beauty, and I like it, but I find that I'm using this to do more, you know, I'm using this to do most of my eye, and not just, I just cleaned it in between, okay? And before I go further, that's something that is really important, is cleaning your brush in between. There's a couple things you can do. You can get a color switch like this that is foam in a tin. That's what it is. They sell it at Ulta. This one I got at Sephora. That it's starting to sort of break down a little bit, so I may actually have to replace this, and I probably had this for 3 or 4 years, I think. Something like that. I've had it for a while, and I take it out, I clean it, put it back in. This is nice because I can travel with it too, because I don't, the other option is using a towel. So I have, I'm going to show you, it's kind of gross. I have this old towel, and I will wash it, but I will use that sometimes too. So you can just use a towel. This is nice because I can, like I said, I can travel with it. I'm not going to use a hotel towel and ruin their towel. Because all this is not going to come out of it, but it's just a towel that I have. So you can use either, but you want to clean your brush off in between. And you'll see me do it in a video. You'll see me going like this, cleaning my brush, just so I have a nice clean brush to put my next shadow on. If I'm, you know, using black, I don't want to get black all over everything, so you want to make sure that you're wiping it off, okay? But a brush like this is really nice to get in your crease, and you can blend it. Another nice crease brush is this one. This is from Sephora. This is the number 38 from Sephora. That's a nice one. See how nice and fluffy it is, so you can put your shadow on and blend it. This one's a little bit bigger though. See how that one's a little bit fluffier? This one you have a little bit more control with than this one. Another one that's nice that I've used is, let's see, do I have in front of me, is this one. This is from Sigma, and this is the E25, and this is a blending brush. So remember I told you I use brushes differently than when they're tinted. So this is considered a blending brush, but to me, see how, look at the difference between the BK and this. This is not big enough in my opinion to blend with, but if you're kind of like not really comfortable with your makeup yet, or applying your makeup, this is really nice because again, you can get right in here, you can get right in the corner, but then I would have to go and take another brush to blend it out with. That's why I said this one kind of does it all. And this one, I don't think I said what number this is. This is a BK 202, okay? So that's all you need, is something to put your, because I can even get it on the corner here if I need to. I can get my color there and blend it. Now, if you're someone that's like, I don't want to do all that, I'm kind of nervous, I need something else on the corner, then a brush like this is really nice. So this is the 205 from BK Beauty. See how it's angled like that? So you can take a brush like this, and you can get it like right in here on your corner. You could even bring it up here if you wanted to. I would still use a different brush to blend it with, but this is another option which does kind of two things. It does your outward V, and it does your crease. I can't think. Yeah, that you would need another brush to blend it out. Okay, so let's go on to lid brushes. So this is a nice one for your lid. Fits perfectly in your lid. It's not too small, not too big. That's from BK Beauty. Like I said, other than that, anything blending to blend your brush or to blend your shadow is great. So that one's from BK Beauty. This is from It Cosmetics. Can you see how it's just nice and fluffy? I think this might be the one that I was using on my lid. It's just a bigger one, but you can see how it fits in there. So it really depends on the size. I'll compare the BK Beauty to that. And then the other thing that's nice to have is a smudger brush. And I use a smudger brush for a lot of different things. So one of the things, and again, this one's from BK Beauty. This is the 204. So I will use this to put under my eyes right here. I'll put my shadow there. I will also use this to put color in the corner here if I want to add a little highlighter right there in the corner of my eye. I will also, sometimes I've been doing this lately, is I will add a little bit of different color right here, maybe a lighter color right in there, right in the corner, and see how it fits in there. And since it's so densely packed, you really get a good punch of color there. And another thing that I will do is I will take it and I will add a highlighter right there at the top part of my eye with it because it's small enough to do it. So it's kind of a nice multitasking brush. So those are the different brushes that I have. Those are the brushes that are good to have in your collection. Just, you know, a nice blush, bronzer, powder, foundation, and eye brushes. That's all you really need. So you don't have to keep on going out and buying brushes. You don't have to have as many as I have. And I'm probably going to go through some of my brushes because I just tend to use the same brushes, and I think that's how it is for a lot of people. Unless you're a working makeup artist, you don't have to have a lot of brushes. Just take good care of your brushes and they will last you for a long time. So I can share a video on how I wash my brushes. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments below and I will share that with you. But that is it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments, how many brushes do you have? Do you have like an excessive amount of brushes? Do you feel like you have too much? Do you feel like you don't know how to use your brushes? Is there any other videos from this that maybe I didn't answer a certain question for you that you wished I would have talked about in this video? Let me know in the comments below with that as well. And if you're new here, I would love to have you join me. Please make sure you click that button below, hit the subscribe button. I share new videos every single week. Also, make sure you click that notification bell and set it to all so you don't miss any of my videos. And you can follow me on Instagram as well. And that is it. Thank you guys so much again. I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye.